I'm doing my stuffed mushroom happy dance. Yay! Stuffed mushrooms are one of the very first appetizers that always disappear at a fancy schmancy dinner or holiday party. I've even been known to stalk the poor waiter who got stuck holding the tray full of these things. Up until recently, I had never even attempted cooking these at home. I thought they would be way too hard and complicated to make. But y'all, I am here to tell you that not only are they super simple to throw together, but they can be ready to enjoy in under 30 minutes. Hey there, I'm Lennon Brazil from Evolving Table, and today we're going to be stuffing a bunch of mushrooms with both a crab meat filling and a spinach and artichoke dip. Yeah, so all of your meatitarians and vegetarians are gonna have something they'll wanna munch on. If you're ready to get to cooking, then come on in and let's get started. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees. For both of these recipes, you'll need 1 pound or about 16 ounces of small to medium-sized mushrooms. This is somewhere around 15 mushrooms. Whole baby bellas and white button mushrooms are the easiest to find and are also the best to fill. Before we start stuffing, we'll first need to clean the mushrooms. The best way to do this is to grab a damp paper towel or a washcloth and not by soaking them. If you completely immerse them in water, they will absorb too much liquid and will lose a lot of their flavor. So go ahead and scrub the outside of the mushrooms with a damp towel to remove any visible dirt and debris. Once they are cleaned, remove the stems by pulling them to one side and then to the other until they snap at the base. You can also use a knife to cut them if they are not snapping easily, but it's very difficult to remove all of the stem this way. Repeat this until all of the mushroom stems are removed. If you don't want any food to go to waste, you can always chop up the stems and add them to a tomato sauce, stir fry, or even a soup recipe. Place the mushrooms on a large baking sheet that has been lined with parchment paper. We've got our first pound of mushrooms ready to be stuffed, so let's start off with that crab meat filling. In a medium-sized bowl, add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix until well combined. You can choose to either use fresh or canned crab meat for this recipe. Here in the United States, you can typically find fresh crab meat during the months of October through January, but some of the states actually extend this season well into the warmer months. If fresh crab is hard to find, you can also use canned meat that is available year-round and in most grocery stores. Whether fresh or canned, try to get jumbo lump crab meat if possible. Before you add it in, first double check to make sure there are no remaining shell pieces in the meat. And then add 8 ounces of crab meat to the cheese mixture, along with 2 tablespoons of finely chopped green onions or chives. Mix delicately until just combined so the crab meat does not break apart too much. Fill each mushroom cap with 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of the crab meat mixture. Pay careful attention not to fill them up with more filling than they are tall. This prevents overflow while baking. Oh my gosh, y'all, I did this recently and oh my goodness, it was such a mess. The filling was like all over my sheet pan, but luckily they still tasted pretty good. So now that you've got all of your mushrooms nice and stuffed, we're gonna add on a crispy and crunchy topping that will help to balance out that soft and tender filling. So go ahead and grab a small bowl and add 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese with 2 tablespoons of a panko style breadcrumb. This is the gluten-free brand I like to use. Sprinkle about a teaspoon over each filled mushroom. Bake stuffed mushrooms in preheated 375-degree oven for 20 minutes, or until the tops become crispy and golden brown. Serve with additional chopped chives or green onions. Those are so good. And I think almost everyone will enjoy them, except what about those vegetarian guests? This next recipe is completely meat-free, but it's still so full of flavor. So go ahead and grab a medium-sized bowl, and add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix until well combined. Finally chop 1/4 cup of canned artichoke hearts. Thaw frozen spinach and drain using a cheesecloth or a dish towel until all of the moisture is removed. You want to have about 1/4 cup of it when packed. Add spinach, artichokes, and 2 tablespoons of finely chopped green onions or chives. Mix until just combined. Fill each mushroom cap with 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of the spinach filling. Once again, paying careful attention not to overload them with too much of it. Sprinkle a total of 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs over all of the mushrooms. This is about 1 teaspoon on each. Bake in a preheated 375-degree oven for 20 minutes, or until the tops become crispy and golden. Serve with additional chopped chives or green onions. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, these are so good too. I'm gonna have a really hard time picking my favorite. Which one do you think you're gonna like? The spinach and artichoke or the crab meat filling? And if you want a few more easy appetizer ideas, make sure you check out these other party food recipes. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.